think women should probably have a cup or two a day of broccoli, collards, kale, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, that whole cocktail of vegetables. There are certain foods which we know help with hormonal regulation and balance. One of them is the brassica family of cruciferous vegetables. You mentioned that, but I don't want to sort of gloss over it. It's really important. I think women should probably have a cup or two a day of broccoli, collards, kale, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, that whole cocktail of vegetables, because of the compounds, the phytochemicals they contain that help regulate estrogen metabolism and sort of de-risk your estrogen from being a carcinogenic type of estrogen to a more healing, beneficial type of estrogen. And I think also the same thing is true around, insulin and blood sugar. When you start to sort of get into the trouble with that, you've got to really do what you're saying is shift your diet towards more good fats and less starchy carbs. So we kind of know that if we kind of work on all these things, that actually women can really get rid of these symptoms.
You can. And, I think there's a few interesting areas related to this topic. One is that I was taught when I went through my training that the symptoms women start to experience after 40, the difficulties sleeping, the night sweats, the hot flashes, that those are these inconveniences that could be medicated with hormone therapy in the right candidates. But now what we're actually learning is that many of those symptoms are biomarkers of something much more serious, which is dysfunction of blood vessels, endothelial dysfunction.
Yeah.
It's a
Hmm.
biomarker associated with bone loss. And so it becomes much more important, I believe, to get these hormones back into balance, starting first with diet and lifestyle. Another piece that's really essential is that having large blood sugar excursions, which was my story until I figured this out
Yeah.
in the book,
Yeah.
that can trigger hot flashes, night sweats, mood swings, many panic attacks, many of the things that women are starting to experience in their 40s. So the more we can dial in that metabolic health piece, along with balancing these sex hormones, the better off women are.
It's so huge, and I think we really just coming to understand that these are not normal things. They shouldn't be normalized. That women
That's right.
aren't just sort of relegated to being quote hysterical, which is the I hate that word. It's like it basically comes from hysteria, which is the uterus, right? Hysterectomy and hysteria are not unrelated, and
I
just
hate it too. I mean, I
oh
love
my
how
god, it's terrible.
you talk about how we don't want to normalize this. And what it reminds me of is that analogy of the frogs in the pot on the stove, where you very slowly turn up the heat and the frog doesn't jump out because it's so
Yeah,
slow and imperceptible. And so I don't want women to just sit back and say, oh, my doctor checked my labs and said I'm just getting older. Like, don't settle
yeah,
for that. Don't be
yeah.
dismissed. There's so much misunderstanding about this. And so it takes us taking our health into our own hands and saying, okay, this is not how I want to live my life after 40. I want to change things.